that carbon splitter on a family SUV that seats 7.
This ESV runs a version of magnetic ride control that reads the road 400 times a second, and I'm saving exactly why that number matters until later in this video. As for the price question, my answer depends entirely on whether you're cross-shopping this against a Rolls-Royce Cullinan or against a standard Escalade sitting one trim down, because those are two completely different conversations to have. We're covering the exterior in real detail, the cabin, then the powertrain numbers that actually matter most here. But first, the backstory. Because this ESV didn't come out of a normal product planning cycle at all. It came out of something far more specific than that. Most people are staring at that carbon splitter. That's not the engineering story. The real story is the damper technology behind it. Magnetic ride control, adjusting stiffness up to 1,000 times per second per corner. A standard air suspension reacts after the fact. This one reacts before the wheel finishes the bump. Lincoln's Navigator L still runs conventional adaptive air without magnetic fluid. Predictive terrain damping. The system pulls elevation data from the route ahead, pre-adjusting damper stiffness before the SUV reaches a change in road surface. The logic is simple. Reacting to a bump is good. Knowing it's coming is better. It closes the gap between a smooth ride and an anticipated one. Step inside, and this cabin tells its own story. The seats were perforated black leather with a V-Series crest embroidered directly into the headrest, a detail that feels closer to a Rolls-Royce Cullinan's bespoke embroidery than a mainstream SUV. That's deliberate, not incidental. The center console keeps a physical rotary knob alongside the curved touchscreen, not touch-only controls. On a highway at speed, a knob you can find by feel beats a flat screen you have to look at. Lincoln's Navigator L leans almost entirely on its panoramic display. AKG Adaptive Cabin Acoustics. The AKG-tuned system reads road noise in real time and actively cancels it before it reaches your ears, not just after. It's specific to keeping the supercharger's soundtrack audible while canceling tire roar underneath it. It closes the gap between a quiet cabin and a cabin that's quiet on purpose. Missed the mark. That purple ambient lighting scheme is striking on camera, but it leans closer to nightclub than boardroom. Rolls-Royce keeps its interior lighting subtle enough that you forget it's even there. The exterior is where that competitive intent gets loud. Here's what actually triggered this. Lincoln's Navigator L Black Label closed the price gap on Escalade-V ESV without closing the power gap, and Cadillac wanted that number impossible to ignore. The brief wasn't simply build a nicer Escalade, it was make the horsepower gap so wide that price comparisons stopped mattering entirely. Every panel on this ESV traces back to that one number. Front splitter, the carbon fiber piece we already covered up front. Functional downforce at real speed, not decoration for the dealership floor. Grille, black diamond mesh with the Cadillac crest centered, feeding air directly to that supercharged V8 sitting immediately behind it under the hood. Headlights, vertical LED signature, a functional glare reduction shape unique to this platform generation. Wheels, dark gray multi-spoke performance wheels wrapped in low-profile street rubber, chosen deliberately for outright grip over ride cushion. Rear, quad exhaust tips integrated into a black diffuser with a full-width LED taillight bar and a roof spoiler engineered for high-speed stability at genuinely triple-digit speeds. Load path decisions like that splitter and diffuser hold their function for the life of the vehicle. Badges and trim levels don't. None of that matters without the number everyone's actually here for. Engine, 6.2-liter supercharged V8, 668 horsepower, 653 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic, all-wheel drive. That's 242 more horsepower than Navigator L Black Label, delivered from a vehicle that still comfortably seats 7 people and their luggage. Supercharger sound layering. The exhaust node is actively tuned per drive mode, blending real supercharger whine with cabin-filtered resonance instead of piping in a synthetic soundtrack. It's the exact gap BMW's X7 M60i exposes with its more artificial-sounding exhaust enhancement. It eliminates the fake engine noise complaint entirely. Navigator L Black Label wins ride comfort with a more conventional air suspension calibration. Rolls-Royce Cullinan wins outright prestige with its badge alone. Neither one comes remotely close to winning the horsepower number outright. Engineering case closed, now the money question. Now, here's what I actually think. Completely straightforward. That horsepower gap explains nearly every decision here. The predictive damping, the acoustic tuning, even that carbon splitter announcing intent before you're inside the cabin. Whether Cadillac actually succeeded here depends entirely on whether you personally value outright power or Rolls-Royce level restraint more in daily use. Expect this configuration to land around $172,000. Rolls-Royce's Cullinan starts near $420,000 for genuine badge prestige, but roughly half this truck's horsepower on paper. And a standard Escalade starts closer to $77,000, so you're paying roughly $95,000 for the supercharged V8, the magnetic damping, and the full carbon aero package layered on top of that base SUV. On residual value, genuine factory-differentiated hardware like a supercharged engine and true magnetic dampers has historically held up noticeably better at trade-in than a trim-level badge alone, because the mechanical distinction shows up on a build sheet a dealer can actually verify. Plan on a 4 to 5 year hold, and this configuration should depreciate more like genuine engineering than a styling package ever does. If you genuinely want Rolls-Royce adjacent presence without Rolls-Royce money, this is clearly the smarter buy over a Cullinan. If badge prestige alone is the entire point, no Cadillac on the lot will ever give you that outright, and it never will. This ESV earns its premium through outright, fully verifiable power, not inherited badge equity alone. That carbon splitter I opened with, it's the same aero thinking that keeps this SUV planted at speed. I'd genuinely love to hear from anyone who's driven a Navigator L or a Cullinan back-to-back with this ESV. How did the power gap feel? Next up, Escalade-V ESV against that Navigator L Black Label spec for spec. Subscribe so you don't miss it. $172K for this Escalade-V ESV or $124K for the Navigator L? Drop your call below.